You guys, you made it worth it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, MC, how much time did they take? They took 6 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Good afternoon, church. Oh, so people are now tired. Let me try that again. Don't shout, but just respond to me. Good afternoon, church. Thank you so much. I know we are getting tired, but I do not know whether to make this a bit interactive so that you don't sleep, or I say some few facts, beginning from what we would call the 18th century and covering up to now, and perhaps what we think could soon happen. My topic, as the MC has outlined, has to do with being relevant in a jobless world. If you take your phones right now and you Google, just say future without jobs, future without works, or future without work, you will see quite a lot of things will pop up, because those who really are pessimistic, especially given the robotics, the AI, would say that we are headed for a future with no jobs. What examples do they give? I'll give one that I experienced myself. Sometime in 2017, I happened to be in London. So I walked into this supermarket, and guess what? I was sort of alone, and I was like, where is everyone? Not even a cashier, no one at the till. So I moved around, picked, and I thought that maybe someone is seeing me on a camera. Once I get to the till, they will then come and get me paying. Then I get to the till and I'm really worried. Then I see that I just have to check this thing out myself. I put my credit card and off I go. So I had to ask this other friend who says, I was like, hey, tell me, I was alone in that shop. It felt creepy. Says, you know what? I think people are boycotting that shop because they feel like it has taken away all the tailors. Machines have replaced the what? The tailors. Right. So it's an envisaged shop where if you have a lot on your, on your trolley, you can now even just pass, then those sensors will be like, and then they also tick your card. Everything is paid, you are out. Right? So when they think of such things, they definitely say we are headed for a world with no jobs. I teach. To be honest, if I look at things such as Chat GDP or GPT or whatever that acronym is, but I'm glad because you know it, you will find that those things have got more information than a teacher can give. Way more information. And with time, we are saying even robots may talk to us and teach better than I ever could. Am I as a teacher not at the risk of losing my job? I was talking with Mfundis outside, and it was like, when there is someone who is at a university that I once taught, I think that's the lady behind there, she said grade 2, and I was already teaching at the university that she's at now. Way back in 2005, no one would have thought that a laptop could do a better job than myself. And then you ask yourself, how do I become relevant in such a context? You may bring different context. I can even pick a context of some here who may have finished their degree. They have learned when they got a place at university, they jumped and ululated. But as soon as they finished, they got sad and they don't know what to do now. There are some who might not have made it in their grade 12, and they're still wondering because they feel like they are still so dependent on their parents, and they get dejected. So I feel like this is very, very crucial to then say, how do you become relevant? And this is where I go back to the 18th or so century to find answers that I can present to you and say, how then can you become relevant as a young person? Not only as a young person, even as me, having all this experience of teaching for this long while. How do I become relevant? All right, so let's go back then. Before there were industries, people used to produce what they need in their homes. Did we get that one? No one woke up in the morning to walk to an industrial place. Or he wants me there. I think he wants me to be seen somewhere. I want to be seen by you guys. But it's fine. I have to respect him, right? And now it has disturbed my flow because there's this thing. I don't know whether to look at it or isn't. Thank you, Mfundis. Yeah, I'm not used to that. So I want to find answers and share with you from long back, and then demonstrate why I have a strong feeling that in the near future we are like going back to where we were in the 18th century. First and foremost, people would grow their onions in their backyard, everything, and even shoes, they would make them. And you see, in economics, we then say, once I make a shoe and someone is good at making something else, we will then trade. I'll say, you know what, my friend, I know how to make shoes. And the friend will be like, you know what, I know how to make maize. And then I'll say, okay, fair and fine, continue with the maize, and then we'll exchange maize for shoes. Production used to take place at homes. And then came what we call industrialization. It made industries such that we would have to leave our homes and go to these industries so that we work in these industries, produce everything that we need in the industries, and then go back home with the food from the industry, with the clothes from the industry, to an extent that a home is no longer a place of production. Now, if you want to see what we may call disaster, just let our employers fail to give us a salary just but for a month. There will be a chaos in our houses. You won't even have just tomatoes to cook for that night. You won't even have. So, over time, we have now so much dependent on industries, hence on jobs. So we need a job to make sure that, we have income to buy. Fair and fine, which is all and great. But now, if you look at, let's say, South Africa, and by the way, South Africa is an economic hub in Africa, right? Things happen here in South Africa. Its gross domestic product, it's so huge, such that if I start to talk about it to you guys, you will be shocked. But big as it is, the unemployment rate for the youth is so alarming. Then you ask yourself, What's happening? What should they be doing? 18th century, remember I said, start something again at home. Do something at home that the industries can't do. Someone will be like, are you sure there could be something like that? I think there is. Can we have examples which we think can be done at home, which can't be done in an industry? Any example? Something that can be done at home? Yes. For instance, he's bringing farming. Okay. Yes, you can still do farming. An industry can proclaim to do it better, but you may actually specialize on it and say, you know what? I am farming this particular thing in this particular method, which is no longer done by industries. And that is so true. If you visit some old makokos deep in Venda and get that old tomato, start growing it, you'll find that you may produce a tomato that does not taste as much as this one that you'll buy elsewhere. You produce that small scale, but there are some people here who are so tired of those mass scale produced tomatoes such that they'll come buy yours at a high price. So that's good thinking. We can still think like that. I want to use these examples, guys. This thing can be done by an industry. Would you believe that this thing was made by the person that we hired here? This speaker. Do you believe that? It may not be as perfect as the one in the industry, but this guy did this from scratch. Taking a chipboard there, a magnet there, but none of you could pick that this was made at home. What do we say to that? Someone is becoming relevant even where there is an industry that do produce these things. And guess what? Maybe because we know of that person, we will deliberately buy from that person because of the satisfaction that comes along with that. So this is example number 2. This person is becoming relevant where there was no employment. He created this and he has made money. I think he was hired and paid. Didn't you pay, Baba Mfundis? What else? We can have many examples, by the way, on how to become relevant. I will give a third one. This guy, where's the third one? These guys can sing. These guys can sing such that, well, with him, I even know that he was a chorister for the Univen choir. And people will jump carrying their heads, making people sing. Imagine if he is to start a music academy and he just calls it Home-Based Music Academy. Bring your child after 1 p.m. and oh boy, will make your child sing. We market it amongst ourselves. He is becoming so relevant based on what he knows and doing it at home. We're going back to the 18th century. And guess what? The beauty of this thing, now time is really moving. I have 1 point, but let me also further illustrate this. There is nothing as beautiful as doing something that you love and you make money for it. Guys, did you get that? There's nothing as beautiful as doing something that you love and make money out of it. There's everything so bad about waking up and going to a job you don't like and a boss who is sitting on your neck. You'll be so frustrated by the time you reach 60, you are worn out. Remember, you are spending much of your time at your workplace. I have to drag myself there. You are told this and that. Those who have worked for quite a long time, by the way, they've got lots of stories to share. It's not as rosy. But imagine if you had to make yourself relevant by doing something that you like. So, Muralo, those are simple examples how you may become relevant. And you see, it also speaks to us who have managed to make it a livelihood in life, or to get jobs that are paying consistently, to then say we need to support young people who are showing innovation, who are also showing that they are doing something for themselves. One person once gave an example to say, when we go to a supermarket branded as is, you will never ever negotiate a price. You get there and you really see that this thing is so expensive. You still buy it and pay at the till. But get to a lady out there who is still trying to make life and selling tomatoes, selling what. Then the next thing, basera, may I have, maybe reduce. That's what we do. So we need to turn around that mentality to those who are able to have money, support those who are actually showing innovation. I'll give an example on this. We call it autarky, or self-contained economy. By a self-contained economy, we mean it this way. If I am to become rich all alone, let's just say we're a country here, and I amass all the wealth to myself, the next thing I will self-destruct, because whatever I have, you guys will no longer buy because you no longer have money. You self-destruct. We need one another, right? So if we are here and someone is good at singing, and then we pay him for singing, and he pays us for preaching, and the one I'm preaching, I pay someone else for ferrying water, it becomes a self-contained economy. It functions well and better. But if we are to restrict ourselves and say, if I support him, he may be richer than me, so no. I would rather go and buy on the other side. We are just self-destructing. Here is a man again that I once talked to. Sorry to expose you, I didn't talk to you. Poppy Act, I'm guilty. This man, he has a skill that he never learned, but he started it here. This man, he puts ceilings. This man here, you can stand if you don't mind. Sit down. Thank you. It's a skill that he never had. Unemployed as he was, then he started to learn bit by bit. The other day I was talking to him and I was shocked that he was called somewhere in, is it KZN? And the person decided to give him money that he has never seen. And he was, can I even expose that? When he came back, he even had to quickly buy a car. Imagine. And I was like, what a story. Someone unemployed, he has become so relevant. Why? Because he just took a passion with his hands. Young people, can I challenge you on one thing? You may not even have the hands to carry stuff. You may not even have, but you still have a brain. You still have your mouth. You can still do something with that. When was the last time we had a poet? Anyone who last had a poet in Venda in a month? Let us raise our hands. 2 months? 3 months? Come on. But trust you me, if one person here is to tell themselves to say, in the next 5 years, I'll be the next poet in Venda, you will be. You will be. Where you just talk, and perfect it if it's something that you like. Right. So becoming relevant in this world of no job simply means that I know, at times some of us who teach will always be like, start entrepreneurship. She's an entrepreneur, by the way. But it may need capital. It may need a lot of money. But trust me, there are a lot of things you can start without money and start having money. Oh, sorry. So we need entrepreneurs to fix all these chairs. So I am trying to say we need to be relevant without even money. We always give an excuse of saying, I do not have money to start. Right? Hello? All right? I wish you will also tell me whether you're disputing or not. But you can start something without money. But if we've got parents who have made it, let them also help us. That's fair and fine. If you don't, you can still be relevant. My last example. Most of us here, and by the way, because this is my job, I quickly scanned and I saw that almost each and every person here has a phone. If you take that phone and your data and you get to some sites, there are some sites that I've listed. Those that may want, I can give him those sites to then distribute. You can always, instead of just using your data only on TikTok, you can fill in some things online and be getting 10 rand, 100 rand, this and that. And before you know it, you may find yourself with 1,000 rand. Do you believe that? You don't. You don't believe that? I will give him the links. I will give him the links. There are some links where people may need questionnaires to be filled in. Others need just you to go through something. Yes, and then we are done. Others, they are launching a new product. They want to test it. They test it on your phone. You get some runs. Guys, be relevant. There shall come a time where it will be hard to beg to apply for a job. And that time will be when you create a job for yourself. At home. Without a cost of renting the office. Without what. But at home. Creating something that you like. I shall not get into the stresses of unemployment. There is no time for that. But I shall surely share with you some few sites. I'm happy he knows some of them. Where you can spend your time, just play around, make some sense, and then go and enjoy yourself with an ice cream. May the good Lord bless you. I've got 2 minutes in case there is a question or two that I can entertain. I'll start with my pastor here. Let us make them quick and snappy.
Thank you, sir. It's not a question. It's just a comment to add on. I'm very worried. Ellen White is still appealing for young people to come and hold the plow. We have in our church a department of publishing that needs young and old people. Our parents were selling books that they do not know how to read. And took other pastors, I took their children, others their pastors, from the books. Others are teachers today from the books. So now, I'm worried. In our days, when you stand up for the book, you know how to present the book. How much you get? I bought a car from the books. A brother bought, I'm talking about another called Potter, bought a house, bought a cars from the books. You must never ever undermine the calling of God in Kolpota Ministries. Because when you sell it, you don't go out alone. You go with the author. And
powerful. So that's another example on how you become relevant, right? Very good example. There are a lot of hands, and MC, I really don't know. It's now no longer me. Yes. So, they are saying 1 minute. So make it fast. 1 minute, 1 minute.
Okay, I just want to ask, why don't you, since you are saying that the technology is taking our jobs, shouldn't we be encouraged into venturing into this technology so that we become part of the creators of these robots?
That's a powerful one. So, as a counter argument, those who say technology is rising, definitely that technology is made by people. So it's a very good thing. Be the one to make those robots. There's another hand. Did I say hand? Oh yes, true.
Oh no, we can give that.
Wow, I like that. You are respecting hand. That's fine. Can you take it? We will give you
I wanted to comment about being relevant in an unemployment society. As youth, we've been stuck up to the rat race where we're just subjected to the educational system. We get a job, we work, and we repeat the cycle. However, if we were to sit down and introspect, we all have different talents, which if we can take time to discover those, we can actually make a living on our talents despite the jobs that we have.
So, talent, there was a time when knitting, we know knitting, ladies, right? Knitting used to be done at homes. It was taken over by the industry. But now again, if you Google knitting, it's more expensive by those who do it by hand or crocheting. Make more money.
A depressed person cannot think normally like us. We have already went to varsity, we have those papers. And we are depressed, we cannot think of something innovative that we can do. Then what are we doing about those people?
Wow, good question. Which is why there is this seminar, right? So that we help you unlock again. It's unfortunate we couldn't get to stress. You are very right, because it can be depressing. But we need to unlock again, I suppose. I don't know, maybe sometime in the future we'll come to depression. Mfundis.
No, thank you so much. Just briefly, I think let's be honest with ourselves. Other than the educational system that wants us to get a job and the normal way of doing things, I think we need to be honest, particularly South Africans, that we have a lot of opportunities. From schooling that is not paid for, which if you travel abroad into beyond South Africa, you'll discover that you don't have those privileges. But I also want to speak to the issue of us being lazy. It's a very uncomfortable topic to talk about because people generally do not want to feel attacked. But we have land at home. Some of you have the privilege of having a borehole at home, but your mother has to go and buy mroho every day, which you can have at home. So we have practical things that we can do at home, but somehow we would rather be on TikTok. So I think more than changing what we do, we need to change how we think. Because opportunities are there, but somehow we don't see them.
Right, and part of changing how we think, especially in a depressed environment, is through talking like this, right? So let us have these conversations, and surely one day you'll find yourself relevant. MC, it was not me who took longer. So I'm handing over to you.